a roommate of mine when I was at school, that I had some Superman energy in some way, or that I was a kind of a Superman figure. In that case, it was because I had run out of my room in my underwear to turn off a smoke alarm.
Wearing a cape.
Crisis. No cape. I think she might have just projected the cape on me in her mind. But the underwear helped. When asked about it years ago, my response was incredulity. It was, who could ever say that they hope to play Superman one day? What a crazy thing for a reasonable person to say. So I put it sort of as like, that would be an amazing thing if it could ever happen, but obviously it'll never happen. And then, a little over 2 years ago, this was just after it had been announced that James was going to take over the DC universe and sort of start the universe anew and start with Superman, where there were little bits of like, could this possibly, should we make some calls? Or we'll just, I got the call that I was on the very long list of great actors who were going to, I guess I was on a very long list, which included some great actors, present company excluded, obviously, of people who were going to get the opportunity to make an audition tape for the role. So I made a tape with my wife, who is a great actress in her own right, and we also did an afternoon of watching the one film from each big screen iteration. Excuse me. That's a bad outfit. And that kind of got me in the Superman headspace, and it got me talking about Superman. I think my wife said you should probably write some of this down. So I wrote a little letter that I sent along with my audition tape. And then I promptly forgot about it, as you do, because usually, it doesn't work out, and so you don't want to dwell on it or think about it too much. My wife did say, very sweetly at the time, I was talking exuberantly and effusively about my thoughts about Superman. Mm-hmm. And she sort of looked at me and went, I think you might be the person to play this part. And I was like, that's very sweet of you to say, but obviously not. Mm-hmm. And then a couple months later, maybe a month and a half later, sort of out of the blue, I got a phone call from my agents saying they'd like you to screen test for Superman. And it's you and 2 other actors. And that is very rare. Usually it would be, well, they want you to make another tape and they have some notes or some thoughts, or maybe you get to talk to the director and get some thoughts about what he actually wants you to do. But instead it's 33% chance now. And you get to go to LA for a weekend and screen test with some Lois Lanes. Well, we didn't know at that point. I think it became clear later that there was going to be some costume work as well. And some stunt work, which I was very excited about, a little wire evaluation to make sure that we were okay with heights and with, flying around.
And spinning around shooting lasers out of your eyes.
Yes, which I usually don't do.
Not in every audition.
Not in every audition. I was told early on that would put some people off.
Uh-huh. You're good.
Thanks.
You're very good.
Let's roll, please, and action.
James, I hate asking you this question. It feels a bit cruel because you've been asked it so many times. Cruel? You'll see.
Ali, we've known each other a long time. You don't need to be cruel with me.
Wait.
You can be kind.
Can I? Here's the question. 2 words. Why David?
First of all, he looks like Superman.
Hey, you know what?
Get out of here.